Good afternoon and welcome to another pre-market review session with the Market Trader. My name is Ray, the Market Trader. And before we begin reviewing the charts, let's go ahead and take a peek at the risk disclosure. Okay. So just want to remind everyone that the content that's being published and distributed by the Market Trader is to be used as information only. Okay, none of the information by the company or contained herein is intended as investment advice and offer to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any security, company, or fund. Again, use of this information is to be used at your own risk, and the company, its partners, representatives, agents, employees, contractors assume no responsibility or liability for any use or misuse of such information. Future trading does carry a fair amount of risk. It's not for every investor. An investor could potentially lose all or more of their investment capital. Only risk capital, money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle, should be used for trading. And only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Again, nothing contained herein is a solicitation or an offer to buy, sell futures, options, or Forex. And past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, let's go ahead and move into the news portal here. Just kind of validate what we have in the way of news that could impact the markets here. Okay, so let's open this up here. Good morning, Luisa. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and share here. All right, so we're going to take a look at the markets, news events that could potentially impact the markets. So we have a number of earnings today. We have a number of banks reporting earnings across the board here. In addition, we have the CPI report that has already been published and being reviewed in the markets. We have let's see, we have Fed member Fed member Barkin speaking today. We have Energy Secretary speaking here at 11. And then we close out the day here with the CEO, which shouldn't necessarily impact us in the New York session, but could have an impact later in the day. So fair amount of news, as I mentioned, fair amount of earnings. We have earnings this week and next. Again, I think next week is going to be particularly interesting because most of tech will be reporting next week. And I'm sure there's a lot of eyes on the Magnificent Seven, such as NVIDIA, Tesla, among others. Okay, so let's go ahead now and take a look at begin to review the portal here and get a sense for what the market is doing. Okay, so let's go ahead and open up our platform here. We're going to go ahead and open up our charts. Let's see here. Okay, so I have a chart of gold up here. So let's go ahead and start with the daily chart. We're going to go ahead and turn off initial balance here for a moment, and we'll turn off ASR as well. And again, you can see here that we remain in some sort of consolidation pattern here in the gold market. Okay, I would say that of late we've managed to make some higher highs and higher lows, but I would say overall it appears that we are in some sort of ascending triangle pattern. Okay, so if I just go ahead and draw this in here, you can see that we are in some sort of ascending wedge, okay, consolidation pattern. And as we get closer to the apex of this wedge, there is a move, okay? There is a move in store for gold. The question is, which direction is that move going to be, okay? What I can say is that the magnitude of this move is going to be the mouth of this, okay, the mouth of this wedge pattern, okay, that I can tell you. All right, so if that's the case, then and we look at closer to the apex and we get a down move, well, we could potentially move all the way down to the 3000 level in this market. Otherwise, if we do get a break to the upside, we're looking at the possibility of reaching 3,800 as our new level in the gold market. So interesting time for gold again, and I guess to some degree we could say the same for the equities, but we'll have to see what the days ahead bring to this market. Okay. Moving on to the 4-hour chart. Let's go ahead and move on to the 4-hour chart here. We're going to change to the 4-hour. Okay, looking at the 4-hour, you can see that we are starting to develop a little bit of structure here. We made some higher highs and higher lows, as we saw in the daily chart. Of late, it appears that we are developing a little bit of structure here, potentially to the downside, okay, as a result of the CPI news. And you can see that we've developed a little bit of a supply area right around this 33.75 level. We are currently developing a 4-hour candle that is bearish, okay, which could lead us to maybe a swing, okay, to the downside in this market, okay. So 4-hour showing some signs of maybe some weakness here. You can see here maybe that we might be in some sort of reverse head and shoulder pattern here. This being the head of this being the head here. Let's remove that. Let's go ahead and find our arrow here. Okay, so this being the head, this being the right shoulder, this being maybe developing left shoulder. Okay, so it's and then again this being maybe the neckline. All right, so let me go ahead and use this here. We'll use this as our neckline of this pattern. Okay, something along those kind of lines. So maybe there is maybe a little bit more in the way of development of the left shoulder before we get a full pattern developed here. But I am seeing maybe that we are developing, and I guess maybe you could even make a case here that we have maybe another pattern here on the left-hand side, reverse head and shoulder pattern. Okay, moving on to the 30-minute chart. Okay, looking at the 30-minute chart, you can see that we are beginning to get some structure here to the downside. We have really not made any new highs in this market. Certainly at the start of the London session. Okay, once we reach the London session, we've come into this area. I'm going to go ahead and draw this in red. Okay, indicating that this is a resistant area, Okay, and you can see here that price came to this level, and now we are in some sort of bearish structure here to the downside. I'm going to go ahead and draw in our anchored VWAP here, and then follow that up with our fixed range volume profile. Okay, so there's the start of London. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open up our general VWAP here. Okay, get a sense for where VWAP is, and you can see that both our anchored VWAP and our daily VWAP, both in both cases, price is below. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and now open up our fixed range volume profile. Kind of get a sense here where price is in relation to yesterday's price action. Okay, and you can see here that we've managed actually we opened, okay, with this candle here, and we opened just outside, okay, value area high, and basically accepted value to the downside. Okay, So the question now remains is this level below here, this level, I'm going to go ahead and draw that in as maybe maybe potential area of support here, okay? Is this area going to provide us an area of support here for the gold market? You can see that we've already come down to this level once, not once, but twice, potentially a third time here around this 33, what is this, 33, 50 level, okay? And then we'll have to see whether this level is going to maintain, continue to hold, and provide us an area where we could where price could potentially reverse, okay? If we are unable, okay, if we are unable to hold this level, then I think that opens the door for maybe price to discover price lower, okay? Maybe as low here, I see have 32.20, okay? So as a bull, okay, as for bullish participants, I would say that this area right here around 33.50 is going to be relatively important. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and open up initial balance. Okay. We're about, this is the Asia session. So we'll go ahead and move this to actually London. Let's go ahead and move this to the day session here. Okay. So you can see that we're developing a relatively wide initial balance range in comparison to maybe some of these other initial balance ranges. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm going to go ahead and open up our ASR here. Okay, so we are coming into a statistical area where price could potentially remain in range and bounce away from. Okay, so it'll be interesting again to see how price reacts around this 33.52 level, and whether we get a bounce or whether price exceeds this level and approaches lower prices. Okay. So I would say headed into the session, I would say that I'm looking for opportunities potentially to the bearish side. I do understand that we are coming into some areas of demand, which could cause price to reverse. But I do understand that we are in a little bit of bearish structure here to the downside. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of draw a little trend line here. You can see that we've been following this trend line pretty well, right? We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, a number of touches here to the upside, okay? And as long as we continue to maintain that, as long as price continues to maintain and hold below this trend line, I would say that there is further price, that price will continue to move lower, okay? Let's go ahead now and move into the crude oil market. Okay, we'll take a look at the crude oil market and look at the daily, okay? So again, somewhat similar to what we've been seeing in the gold market of late. You can see that we are in some sort of consolidation pattern here. Still very much, I would say, in control of the bears here, based on this swing that we received here. We really haven't been able to get out of the grasp of the sellers in this market. Okay, we see a lot in the way of overlapping price action. Okay, we have closed out yesterday with a bearish candle, and we are developing a bit in the way of a bullish candle, but nothing of, at least for now, of any significance. Okay, market still appears on the daily chart to be, I would say, still very much in bearish control. I would say that we are making maybe some progress here to the upside. Okay. But I would say that given that price still remains in this swing here, that my view, at least on the daily chart, remains bearish. Okay, moving on to the 4-hour chart. Looking at the 4-hour chart, we're going to go ahead and turn off our initial balance range. Again, you can see that we remain in some sort of consolidation pattern here on the lower end of price here. We managed to break below this level to the downside here, okay, with this candle here during the overnight, and now we're developing something in the way of a bullish candle, but certainly evidence that sellers are still very much present given the wicks above. Okay, moving on to the 30-minute chart. 30-minute chart, again, you can see that we're on the lower end of price here. We did manage to hold above, at least for now, above VWAP, but the VWAP is really not a good indication at this point because the VWAP is relatively flat. Okay, and we're seeing that price is hovering above and below it. Let's go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile here. Well, let's take a look and see where price is in relation to yesterday's value range. Okay, and that's it right there. Okay, so you can see that any attempt to accept value to the upside, at least for now, has been rejected. Okay, hey Tim, we did get price to accept inside value. Okay, but in each attempt that it's accepted inside value, has been met with sellers. Okay, so again, I would say that there's still a lot of I would say participation in this market to the sell side. Okay, let's go ahead and open up our anchored VWAP here. Let's take a look and see what the anchored VWAP, what London has been able to do with this market. So you can see that, however slight, market is above our anchored VWAP and our daily VWAP. Okay, but again, we are seeing a lot in the way of some of selling wicks, indicating that there is still a fair amount of interest here to the downside. So I would say that unless we're able to break and hold above, let's say the top of this level here at say 67. Okay, if we can't break above 67, I would say that we are in some sort of bearish structure to the downside. Okay, as far as a low end target, I'll use this maybe 66 level. That's the ASR low. That would seem like a reasonable target for price. Okay, should we get an extension to the downside. All right. Looking at the initial balance, we're developing a relatively, I would say, a normal initial balance range, at least for now. This range, we're still only about 20 minutes into this initial balance range. And it's, I would say, still very much a normal range. Okay. If we do get a break below of this, I would say that it stands to reason that we will maybe come down to reach this 66.15 level. Okay, that would very much align with the general direction of this market. Okay, so headed into the session, I would say that I continue to be rather bearish in this market. I think we need to continue to look for opportunities that would align ourselves with a bearish direction in the market, and that's I would say the market sentiment that I have going into the New York session. All right, let's go ahead now and move into the equities. Okay, looking at the equities, looking at the daily chart. Okay, so you can see here the CPI has given a little bit of a boost to the equities. We're beginning to break some structure here to the upside in this market, in an otherwise market that appears to continue to be bullish. Okay, so daily is looking bullish. 4 hour, we're going to go ahead and move into the 4 hour chart. We're going to kind of drill into some of these candles here. We're going to go ahead and turn this off here for a moment. Okay, so you can see that we're continuing to break some structure here to the upside. This 23,000 level was a relatively important level. We're currently above that. Okay, that was an area of resistance, and now it's going to appears to be an area that could look as maybe as an area of support. I would say that any pullback to this area, now that we've closed above, is going to be supportive. So anything around this 23,100 level appears to I would expect to be a supportive area, and that could offer us maybe a location for further price action to the upside. Okay, moving down to the 30-minute chart. Okay, we're going to go ahead and let's see. We're going to go ahead. This is New York. Yeah, let's move this to London for now. Okay. Okay, so we haven't really reached the extensions of the ASR levels at the moment for London. We're still about 8 minutes away from the open of the market here. You can see that on the 30-minute, we continue to be above our VWAP. And I'm going to go ahead and draw in our anchored VWAP here for London. Okay. And you can see that we are above that as well. Okay. So market is looking, I would say, quite bullish. Okay. And I would say that we need to continue to look for opportunities to the bullish side. Okay. We're going to hold off on drawing the initial balance range just because the market is still technically not open. We'll maybe open up our visible range volume profile here, and you can see that price is above, right? Is above value. Okay. You can see that we have a point of control here around this 23,000 level, 23,050. This area down below, I would expect that it will continue to serve as an area of support going forward. Okay. So headed into the session, again, I would say that you need to look for opportunities to the bullish side in this market, not necessarily at the highs of the highs, but maybe look for opportunities for maybe some sort of pullback to some prior area of break of structure, okay, to offer you a reasonable location to participate in the upside in this market. All right, let's go ahead now and move into the ES here. Again, we'll start off with the daily chart. Again, similar to the NASDAQ, we are seeing some price action to indicate that that we are seeing a fair amount of momentum here to the upside in this market. We have a developing candle that is above or breaking structure here to the upside, and in a market that's already showing strong signs of bullish behavior. Moving into the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart. Again, you can see that we are we have a series of candles here that are all bullish. Okay, we are above. We're headed into this an out of balance kind of area here, indicating that we are moving into some sort of trend in this market. All right, to the upside. Let's go ahead and move into our 30-minute chart. Looking at the 30-minute chart, you can see that we're coming up on our ASR high here for London. I'm going to go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile here. Okay, and take a look and see where price is in relation to yesterday's price action. Okay, so let's locate that. Where is Monday? Start is here. Drag that across to here. Okay, and you can see that price remains above value, okay, indicating that market participants are willing to pay a premium to participate in this market to the bullish side. Okay, I've just kind of marked an area here around 63.15, which I would expect to be supportive. Again, I would say that we need to look for opportunities, okay, on any sort of pullback on price and look for opportunities to participate in this upside move. The fact that we are breaking daily levels to the upside requires a fair amount of momentum. And as a result, I would say that that momentum is going to carry over to the lower time frame charts and potentially provide us a good amount of momentum here to the upside. Okay, let's go ahead now and move into the Dow here before we kind of do a general review across all the markets here. Again, looking at the daily, you can see that the Dow is, I would say, probably the weakest of the three equity markets. Okay, you can see that we're seeing on the daily chart that we still remain in some sort of consolidation pattern. We have not made any new highs. So of the three markets, it does appear, even though we are still in some sort of bullish price action, I would say that in the Dow we seem to be in some sort of range. Okay, moving on to the 4-hour chart. Okay, for our chart, again, you can see, again, with the development of candles, you can see that we continue to have quite a bit of overlap in the candle formation here. Really haven't been able to we did make an attempt here to make a new low, only to find buyers. Okay, and now we've pulled back here and again found some buying. Okay, moving on to the 30-minute chart. Looking at the 30-minute chart, you can see here that we are developing somewhat of a bullish candle here. We're going to go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile. We're going to go ahead and take a look and see where price is in relation to yesterday's price action. Okay, and you can see that price is hovering right at the edge of value. Okay. We are more than likely going to open above value, which again is going to serve as a kind of a marker, right, to indicate that maybe there is some more upside opportunities in this market. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and extend this value area line. Okay. I expect that, assuming that we do close above it, that will serve as an area of support here around, let's see, what was that? For 44,000, let's call it 680. Okay. Assuming that we can stay above that. More importantly, what I'd like to see in order to really kind of embrace maybe a potential momentum move to the upside, I would like to see price break above this most recent level of structure here at around 44,730. Okay. All right. Let's see. We're going to go ahead and add our anchor VWAP to this discussion. Okay. And get a sense for where the London has been able to take this market here. Okay. So there it is. We're seeing that price is above our daily VWAP and our anchor VWAP. For now, the VWAP is a bit on the flat side, indicating that maybe we are in a bit of range in this market. So, but nonetheless, we are above value. Okay. And as long as we remain above value, I would say that there's a fair chance that we could potentially see higher pricing. Okay. We have this 44,860 level here as maybe a visual target. We have some areas here at 44,800. And then ultimately, we have this 45,000 level above us. Okay. Let's go ahead now and just kind of now that we're kind of coming into the start of the market here, let's make one final pass of the markets. You can see here that the gold market, as a result of the rallies that we're seeing in the equities, we're seeing some signs that the gold market is looking to move lower, headed into the open of the session. Crude oil also showing some bearish kind of price action. Okay. And then I would say that across the board, NASDAQ certainly appears to be bullish. ES also, I would say that the Dow of the three markets appears to be the weakest of the three equity markets. Okay. So just to summarize, headed into the New York session, I would say that I'm looking at gold as a more of a more for bearish opportunities, similar for the crude oil. And I would say that we are kind of in buy the dip kind of mode when it comes to the equities. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and close off this session here, guys. Again, don't be shy with the likes. Don't be shy with the comments. Don't be shy with expressing how these sessions are supporting your review and understanding of the markets. And until our next session, trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. Have an excellent day trading, guys, and we'll talk again soon.